The moment a man becomes obedient to women, he removes all of his sex appeal. Zero gets left in him. So what ends up happening is these men who have followed the rule book to a T, giving her unconditional love, never challenging her, always being supportive, never showing any control, never telling her what she can't post, never telling her what she can't wear, having zero opinion on her behavior. What they think is happening is they're creating unconditional love. What's really happening is they're becoming submissive and obedient.
In this life, danger comes in many, many forms, both friend and foe. We have the danger standing in front of us, representing the conflict we can see, the foe. We have the danger standing behind us, representing the conflict we cannot see, the friend. And then we have the danger that comes from within us, representing the internal conflict we either can see or cannot see, or more than likely choose not to see. The woman subconsciously tests all of these things, and she's drawn towards the man who is able to see all of these dangers and who has the courage and character to face all of these conflicts head on. The woman whose nervous system naturally has a strong negativity bias towards danger has a pathological relationship with it as well. She sees the world as either safe or unsafe, and her attraction to the man is steeped in this pathological desire. But what she sees as safe and unsafe is counterintuitive to the man who does not approach his dangers and his conflicts head on. The man who seeks comfort instead of overcoming his dangers will make two big mistakes. He will project what he wants onto the woman, and he will obey and dedicate himself to the comforts the woman desperately desires, the comforts the woman desperately draws in. The first mistake is a projection. And we can't get anywhere in life making projections, fellas. Throwing stones into the darkness and hoping something hits is not a good way to understand your environment, fellas. The second mistake is that he allows himself to be consumed by the vortex, consumed by the black hole that is the woman's love. This love is called consumptive love, and it consumes whatever enters into its orbit. This is the nature and the spirit of the woman, fellas. This is how the woman loves. The woman cannot do anything about this, but the man can. I'll say that again. The woman cannot do anything about this. She can't do anything about her spirit or her nature. But the man can. This is the reason why women have this unconscious, subconscious desire to be saved by a man, fellas. The woman understands that there are two types of men in this life. There are the men who are sucked into a consumptive love and lose themselves in the spiral that can never be satiated, the spiral that can never be fulfilled. And there are the men who withstand her consumptive love. They do not lose themselves in the spiral that can never be satiated, and they do not lose themselves in the spiral that can never be fulfilled. They are aware of the dangers this represents for both himself and the woman who exists in the center of her own black hole. The man who cannot be pulled in pulls her out. He has his own gravitational pull. The man who cannot be pulled in pulls her in. He has an orbit for the woman to be drawn towards, but he is no black hole. He represents the sun, something that is full of vitality and something that offers vitality. Not comfort, but vitality. This man is attractive and always has other things that are drawn towards it as well. Other things that orbit it as well. This is exactly what the woman is attracted to, gravitate towards, and is drawn in by. Or are you something that must orbit others? Because if you're a man and you're looking for a woman to orbit, the only thing you will find is spirals, vortexes, and black holes.
And in the process of becoming submissive and obedient, you lose sex appeal. So that man is the most likely to get cheated on. Most likely to get cheated on because in his desperate attempt to be the nice, perfect man, he's lost his challenge and dominance.
You see, the woman who is lost within her own spiral, within her own vortex or vortices, can only be pulled out of it. This requires a force that is stronger than the force of her spiral, stronger than the force of her repetitive cycles. The woman who sees herself as unsafe and her own decision-making as unsafe wants to be pulled out of the depths of her own spiral. She wants to be saved. This is a primordial fantasy, fellas. Do not listen to the women who claim otherwise. Less than 10% of communication happens through words. The other 90% happens through sub-communication. Women use words to flatter or to deceive. Stop listening to the words that are coming out of the woman's mouth. Use empathy and pay attention to her actions and reactions. In order to pull a woman out of her spirals, aka her emotional turmoil, her dysregulation, her self-destructive ways, her all-consuming, gluttonous and insatiable nature, you must break the rotations of her spirals, of her cycles, not lose yourself in them, not add further kinetic energy to them. You must disable her spirals and her cycles, not enable them, fellas. A man who is unable to do this will be seen as unsafe, will lose the attraction the woman had for him, will lose the respect the woman had for him, will lose the admiration the woman had for him. She'll go back into her spirals and back into her cycles, and she will await to be drawn towards another man with a stronger gravitational pull. The woman's consumptive love consumes all. There is no end to her desires. There is no end. As I said, it is like a black hole. Its nature is to consume everything. And once it's consumed you and spat you out, once the spirals of her cycles has forced your life to spiral, she will identify your weakness. She will identify how weak you truly are, and she will identify your inability to be able to meet her at the eye of her spiral and pull her out. Naturally, she will long for a different type of a man. She'll be drawn towards a different type of a man who seems to not be drawn towards her, a man that she can be drawn towards herself. Now, here's the game, fellas. The sun doesn't ask those who orbit it to orbit it. The earth doesn't ask those who orbit it to orbit it. The earth didn't ask the moon to orbit it. The earth didn't ask the moon to submit to it. It didn't demand the moon to submit to it. The moon decided of its own accord to orbit the earth and to submit to the earth. Now, here's the difference between us and the planets, and here's the difference between us and the sun. We choose who gets to orbit us and who doesn't. This is what the woman responds to. The woman is attracted to your gravitational pull, and the woman is attracted to your vitality. She submits to and follows those who have the vitality that can actually allow her to orbit it. But as men, we have our boundaries. And we get to choose who is allowed to orbit us and who isn't. This is something that the woman is very, very, very focused on, because this is how she tests the character of the man. This is how the woman decides if you are safe or unsafe. Do you allow her to orbit you or do you not? We get to choose who gets to orbit us. The woman has to constantly check that you have the vitality of something she should orbit. When you start demanding that the moon orbits the earth, that's when you've exposed yourself as somebody who is being consumed. That's when you expose yourself as somebody who is actually orbiting the woman. Does that make sense? This is the reason why women will always walk away to truly test who is orbiting who. If the moon decides to no longer orbit the earth won't go looking for the moon. Does that make sense?
Women are gonna hate when I say this, but we aren't actually loyal to men. We are loyal to the perception of ourselves being the relationship with the man. And that's why for most women, regardless of your effort, regardless of how much money you spend on her, how much time you spend on her, how much you have created, built, and struggled with her.
If women were naturally submissive, they would have f***ing submitted by now. God knows we have taken every measure to make women just obey, and they just keep, like the Terminator, getting back up and fighting again and again and again. If anything, patriarchy has conditioned men to be more submissive, because men will fall in line. Men will fall in line. Men do exhibit discipline much more so than women. Like, you know, I've seen countless manosphere podcasts talking about how we just cannot train these hoes. Men will sign up into armies more willingly than women when they're not conscripted. They will sign up to be part of ICE, whereas it takes so much violence, both emotional, physical, and psychological, upon women to even try to get them to submit, and these bitches keep getting back up.
I think there's just this distortion of how women really are. There's this protection around the female image that makes us seem like we're so good. But how many of us have been stabbed in the back? How many of you have mother wounds? How many of your mothers weren't shit? Like, how many of us have real issues and traumas related to women in our lives? How many men have probably been cheated on, but they don't say anything? How many women have cheated, but they're really good at hiding it? Even just the cases of, we joke about women abusing men online, but it's a real thing. Do I necessarily understand it? No disrespect to the men who've gone through that. I don't really get it. I don't get it, but it happens nevertheless. Like, women aren't saints and men aren't demons. Women aren't saints and men aren't demons.
This is why I always teach you guys seduction. You guys don't get it. You guys try to win women over by validating them. But by validating them, you're just adding more kinetic energy to their own spirals, to their own turmoil, to their own tornadoes, to their own whirlpool. You're adding more kinetic energy towards these things. By meeting her expectations, by validating her, by just being nice towards her, you're speeding up the tempest. The woman doesn't want that. She wants to be saved from that. But you guys are so afraid of the strength of her spirals. You're so afraid of the strength of her vortices. You can't withstand it. Not understanding that at the center, at the eye of her vortices, is the most weakest part of the tornado. That's where your woman lays. You guys don't understand that. You're unable to withstand the strength of her spirals, of her cycles, in order to meet her at the eye of it. And you're also unable to pull the woman out of it. You're unable to do both. You're not powerful enough to make the woman orbit you. And you're not strong enough to meet the woman at the eye of the tornado. So all you guys can do is add further fuel to it, further kinetic energy, further rotational energy to her spirals, to her cycles, making the woman worse, feeding into the woman's consumptive love, her love that can never be satiated, giving her all of the things that she demands of you, enabling her pathological desires, until you yourself are drawn in and spat out. This is why I teach you guys seduction. Listen to my recent videos. I keep teaching you guys seduction. What is seduction? Seduction is the ability for you to withstand the strength of her spirals and meet her in the eye of it. Meet her in the eye of it. This is why I say you need to get rid of the civilized self and embrace the animal self. The civilized self is going to be absolutely destroyed by the tornado, by the vault, absolutely destroyed by the spirals, by the cycles, your civilized self, your logical, rational, civilized self, because that's what the woman appeals to, right? But when you've got a strong animal self, and when I tell you guys you're able to meet your animal self, when you have a strong one, you're able to talk directly to the woman's animal self. Well, that's you withstanding the tornado, you walking straight through the tornado and looking straight at the woman through the tempest. Does that make sense? Right? Penetrating the woman. You know that song, Evanescence? How can you see into my eyes like open doors? Right? That whole song there. The whole concept of that song is meeting the woman in her darkest places. Seeing the woman for what she is. Behind all of the illusions and the dark and the smoke screens and the subversions, seeing the woman deep in her soul, penetrating the woman deep in her soul, being able to see the woman at her most weakest vantage point, which is the eye of the tornado, right? So that's what seduction is, being able to seduce the woman out of there. Seducing the woman out of that. But in order to seduce the woman out of there, you must see the woman in her state, see the woman for what she is. And seduction, as I said, is the art of being able to see her true dark self, her true weak self, and seducing her out of it. All right. And this is also where I tell you guys to friend zone women. What is friend zoning women? Well, it's only you being the sun that others orbit around. You being the sun that others orbit around. This is another way to seduce the woman out of her spirals, out of her cycles. Right? When she realizes that she's not drawing you into her orbit, she's going to be drawn into your orbit.
If you want to get more bitches, it's not about having more money. I mean, that'll get you more bodies. But if you want like actual genuine connection, that's not necessarily going to lead you there. What's going to lead you there is talking to women like they are your best friends. The way you talk to your best friends, the way you have that connection, you want to try to replicate that connection with women with a subtle flirt.
Just like the sun, and she's going to chill there. This is why the friend zone is so important. She's going to chill there. She's going to see the Earth. She's going to see Saturn and Jupiter. She's going to see all these asteroids. She's going to see all these other things that also orbit you. And you can't orbit her if she is orbiting you. This is another way to pull her out of her spirals, to pull her out of her cycles, to friend zone the woman. Seduction and friend zoning. Very, very powerful things. I've done it my entire life. Very, very powerful things. I've seduced, right? And I keep telling you how it's the natural way of how it happens. All right. I've seduced all of my mains, all of the women that I was like, wow, me, I want you. I seduced those. These women began orbiting me. Right. And then the other women who were of value, beautiful, or I just liked, or even some women that I didn't like much. Right, but I just kept them around me. As I keep telling you guys, string women along. There's so many doors and opportunities that are open from stringing women along. Women do it to you. You should do it back to them. There's nothing wrong with it. Get over yourself. Get over your morality. Do it anyway. Have a better life. Have a funner life. What would happen is that the women that I didn't have time for, because I already had my mains orbiting me, I friend zoned the rest. And what happens is, as I said, the woman is drawn towards things that other things are drawn towards. Does that make sense? By seeing this and feeling this, your vitality, she understands that you are something that is safe. Does that make sense? The sun is safe. It's consistent. It sustains life for others. So many different things orbit around the sun. The sun has so much vitality, right? That even the planets who orbit the sun, right, are able to find things that orbit it. Look at the Earth. We've got the moon orbiting us. The Earth, who followed the sun's lead, has gained so much vitality, so much stability from the sun, it's able to sustain the life of other things. This is a very, very important concept for you guys to understand. So the issue with the nice guys can't see this, because nice guys do not overcome the conflict and the dangers in their life. They are conflict avoidant. There is nothing more unsafe to a woman than a man that avoids conflict. Because if the woman invests in this man, then she's invested in a man who is easily exploited, easily taken advantage of. This man who doesn't confront the dangers that he can see, the foes, is definitely not going to be a man who confronts the dangers that he cannot see, the friend. And if a man is unable to confront the dangers that he can see and cannot see, this is also a man who is not confronting the internal dangers. He is going to be a man who is cowardly. He avoids his internal battles, he doesn't slay the dragons he's supposed to slay. All right, he will choose to not see these dangers. The woman tests all of these things. And the easiest way for the woman to test these things is to become a dragon to that man. The woman is going to be a danger for you to confront head on. What do? Do you confront her, or do you turn a blind eye? Do you submit? Well, you failed then, didn't you? The woman will also be a danger that you cannot see. She will work her way into your inner circle and she will attempt to stab you in the back. She wants to see, what do you do about the danger that you can't see? The danger that comes from behind. All right, this is the way that the woman understands who you are and what your internal characteristics are. All right, the woman will use herself to test you. A man who doesn't really receive test, like for example, for me, I'm not really tested by a woman. And the reason why I'm not really tested by a woman is because the woman can observe my life and see for herself how I deal with my enemies. The boundaries that I have erected for myself. The woman can see it. Because the woman can see it, she doesn't have to use herself to test me. She can already see how I deal with people. She understands my boundaries. So she's not really playing on my boundaries because she already has all the evidence and all of the empirical evidence through observation alone. When you don't put yourself out there as a man, right? When you're not doing a lot of things and the woman can't figure out who you are by observation alone, she's going to have to do some field tests. She's going to have to go to the field herself. If the woman is dealing with you for a period of time and she hasn't seen you slay any dragons, not the dragons that you can see head on and any of the dragons from behind you, she doesn't see it, you slay any dragons, she's going to turn into a dragon and see how you react to her. That's how this works, fellas. The woman is obsessed with danger and safety, right? And when you show yourself as a man who won't slay the dragon standing before you, standing behind you, show yourself as a man that don't slay the dragons internally, then she sees you as unsafe. The woman will... Now, let me tell you something, fellas, right? The woman will feel more safe around a man who does nothing for her if she can identify that this is a man who slays all dragons. If she can identify that this is a man with a regulated nervous system. If she can identify that this is a man that cannot be exploited. She will feel so much more safe around that man. She'll be drawn towards that man. And she will orbit that man. This is what attraction is, fellas. This is what sexual attraction is. Can she orbit you? Do you have a strong gravitational pull? This is why I always talk about seduction. You want to seduce women, fellas. You don't want to be out here jester maxing and showing women high interest. That's you being pulled to and drawn in towards her orbit. She's looking for a man that she can orbit. This is the reason why I always say women are polygamous. This is the reason why I always say women have no problems sharing you with other women. Women have no problems competing with you for other women. Because women want to orbit a man, and she knows for a fact, well, then if I'm being orbited by this man, then he's definitely orbiting other things. This is why women are attracted to leaders, emotional leaders. It's not just women that she is competing with this man for, but there's other men she's competing for this man for. Other men who want to take his time, who want his leadership as well. Things orbit the types of man she's attracted to. Everything orbits around him. Do you understand the depths of this concept I'm trying to communicate to you guys? Are you somebody that's things orbit? Do you have that type of stability? Because that's truly the only type of stability she's interested in. That's the only, do you have the vitality to draw things in towards you and be able to sustain life, sustain life? Things are orbiting you. The woman wants to orbit you. She doesn't want a man to orbit her. This is why seduction is so important, fellas. The only way that you break your woman's insatiable, incurable desire that just seeks to consume everything inwards is if you break these cycles, you break these spirals, and you give her something to orbit, something for her to orbit, something for her to slowly circle around. When she's left alone, when she has nothing to orbit, you see the destructive forces of her cycles, her rapid circles. It's destructive. It destroys everything, including her own self. But there's nothing she can do about it, fellas. She must be pulled out or met in there. So as I said, there are two ways you can do this. You can meet the woman. So for me, I do two things. I do both. I meet the woman in her own spirals, right? I want you to picture in your mind a woman in the center of a tornado. And in the center of this tornado, she's like Storm from X-Men. All right? She can bloody control everything in the center of this tornado. In the center of this tornado is the weakest. That's the weakest point, right? It's the outskirts. It's the outskirts to where she's truly powerful. And she meets men all of the time. Men that she thinks might be able to meet her in the center, but they can't. At some point, they get lost in the spirals, until she comes across a fella like me. Yeah. Now, I want you to think about an anime scene of a brother just walking slowly through the spirals of a tornado, right? And she's like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? So like Storm or some shit like that, right? She sends a building at me. Me, I deflect this building with a smile. She sends 2 trucks and the cars at me. Me, I deflect this truck and the car like it's nothing. Bang, bang, bang. I'm telling her, relax, lady, relax. She sends a tree at me. I send this thing flying back. And I'm looking at her the entire time, right? Until I meet her at the center. When I meet her at the center, she's just a silly little girl. She's just a silly little girl who doesn't know what she's doing. What are you doing? Relax yourself. What are you trying to do? You trying to destroy me? You trying to destroy yourself? Stop being stupid, innit? Stand up. Let's go. Right? This is what you need to do with a woman. Right? You need to withstand her tornadoes. You need to be the type of man who can withstand it. But the only way that you can withstand her tornadoes, her vortices, is by you not being an emotional man your own self, and you not being a fantasy-driven man. That's how she has power over you. When you don't have these things, you're able to walk through these things. And you can meet her at her most weakest point. As I said, like Evanescence, that song. How can you see into my eyes like open door, leading you down into my course where I've become so numb? That's her at her most weakest point. All right. And so it's your job to basically save her from there. You can meet her in there in the eye of the storm and you can save her from there. Right. Or you can just be such a powerful force that draws her out of this eye and makes her orbit you, right? And fellas, there are different moments which require different things. You know, if you guys come to me and you're interested in dating, I'm going to be telling you things that allow you to meet the woman in the eye of the storm, right? That's what I'm going to be doing, because there's a degree of push, right? But then if you guys come to me and your issues are relationship based, about maintaining a woman, winning over a woman, or getting a woman to respect you or love you, or whatever woman you're already dealing with, I'm going to teach you things about how to be such a powerful force that the woman orbits around you. It's different, and you need to operate in a different type of a way. Usually when you meet a woman for the first time, you're going to have to meet her in the eye of the storm, pull her out, and when you pull her out, you're going to have to make her orbit you. That's the process. But there's different things. That's why I encourage you guys to friend zone women. And this is why I want you guys to make yourself as attractive as possible. Just attractive in different ways. Your aura, your character. Have a good congruent look about you as well. Be healthy. Be fit and healthy. Don't looks max. Sit on a level of attraction that is congruent with everything else about you. Sit on a level of attraction that doesn't make you self-conscious, that's congruent about everything else about you. Work on your internal characteristics. Be as masculine as possible. Sort out your nervous system. Sort out your hormonal regulation. You're a man. You need testosterone. So you need to be doing everything that's going to be boosting your testosterone. These things are going to be communicating to the woman subconsciously, unconsciously. All right? You do those things. Make yourself attractive. When you're attractive, women are going to inquire about you. Women are going to be, I wonder, should I orbit him? And if you come to me, I'll teach you how to ensure that you maximize those opportunities. So women orbit you, look at you as something she wants to orbit. All right, this is the reason why having other women works so well. You don't have to do much. The woman pulls out, I wonder if I should orbit him. She looks into the horizon and sees 7 other planets orbiting you, mate. With bare asteroids and shit. She's like, rah, he's already sustaining life. Where do I fit in here? All right. I want a ring like Jupiter. Is it Jupiter that's got the ring? I think it's Jupiter that's got the ring. If Jupiter is the planet that's got the ring, then that's a bar. And that's a bar, isn't it, fellas? All right, guys, I hope you liked this one. I figured out on CapCut how to make the pictures wider. So, do you know what? I'm going to start trying the cinematic thing. I'm going to start doing the cinematic thing. I hope the visual experience was better. I hope you really liked the concept of this episode. My boy Anthony suggested that I do an episode of Consumptive Love. So thank you so much. One of my early supporters, my early guys. And I told you, I recognize my early guys as well. Trust me. Me, I will give back. I got a piece of paper for everybody. I got a piece of paper. But he recognized, he advised that I do an episode on this, and it was just perfect. So I thank him so much. You see how inspired I am for this video? It's because he came up with the perfect theme for me to do next. Perfect theme. All of my patterns. It was for this episode on consumptive love and the planets and the orbiting and stuff like that. It's just all perfect with the friend zoning thing I've been trying to tell you guys. So thank that brother if you derived any value out of this episode. I love you guys so much. Please continue to support the page. Please continue to support me. Honestly, you guys keep me going. So we really have this mutual relationship with each other. Like, you guys value me for my content, and I value you guys because you're appreciating the content. Thank you so much. All of you annoying dons, as I said, keep exposing yourself. Leave a comment so I can block you on the strength of my domain expansion. Please leave a comment so I can block you. I'm not your dad. I don't know why you guys want to be leaving all these emotionally charged comments. All right, you know, this war that you're trying to have with me, that's an internal war. Do you know what I mean? Speak to yourself, look in the mirror, figure these things out. I'm not your dad. So I don't know why you're leaving emotional dissertations in my comment section. Like, I got time for you. Like, I really, really don't. Game recognizes game. If you don't recognize what I'm saying, you've got no game. You're not my brother. You're not a part of my people. This stuff is to resonate with my people. If it's not resonating with you, it's because you're a dork. I don't like dorks. It's not going to resonate with dorks. So see yourself out of here, or I'm going to block you. All right, guys. Love you guys.